This is big breaking emergency news. We are now getting a major warning sign from the federal government, all right? And they are warning that we could see a major collapse of a big bank, all right? That is what the federal government is getting prepared for right now, and they're flashing warning signs that this could potentially happen soon, right? And we actually have federal government officials saying that banks will fail. Banks will fail. All right, so this is a major warning sign to have cash. Have cash, have alternative stores of value, whatever you can find value in. Find alternative stores, even if it's just storing it in canned goods and food. All right, preps, things like that. Your homestead, your animals. Even if it's not just gold coins, silver coins, and Bitcoin, right? Whatever alternative store of value you want to have. By the way, gold is at all-time high right now, right? You need to have some kind of alternative form because they're warning that banks are going to fail, right? So let's dive into the details here really quick. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news. So you can see here, it says that FDIC chair, which is the Federal Deposit Insurance, which backs your banking, right? They're the ones that, if a bank ever fails, they're supposedly going to back it, but it's only up to $250,000. So if you have your life savings in there, they're only going to back up to $250,000. Technically, they only have to. They could back more, but that's what the law says. And it says, FDIC chair says regulators are prepared to resolve large bank failings. All right, so he was talking to Congress, and he is saying that they are ready in case any major Wall Street banks start to fail. All right, and we also got this warning just last month from the Fed chief. He said there will be bank failures. This was on March 8th, 2024, just last month. There will be bank failures. All right, and now we have the FDIC head warning that they are ready if any major banks start to fail. All right, so this is big, and this is a major warning to have cash and have preps, because if this system collapses, then we could see a new central banking digital currency system be implemented in the ashes, in the aftermath. This digital cryptocurrency that would be managed by the government, where every dollar is tracked and traced, and it can be programmed so you can only buy certain products, right? So these are the warnings we're getting. These are big warnings coming out of the federal government. You can see here it says FDIC chief says US is ready if big Wall Street banks ever failed. All right, so they are priming the narrative to have more bank failures. All right, and people were just throwing out random banks. People were saying, oh, I think Wells Fargo is going to fail. I think Citibank's going to fail. I think New York City Bank is going to fail. All right, because we've already seen multiple bank failures. Remember when this happened last year, Silicon Valley Bank, right? All these different banks started failing. It caused a chain reaction, and they are worried that we could see more of this coming soon. All right, so get cash. This could be the trigger as well. It also could be potential. We could see things like cyber attacks on banks as well that lock people out of their money. If you remember, there was actually a major cyber attack on the automated clearinghouse. This was maybe 6 months ago now. The automated clearinghouse, which clears everyone's checks, your direct deposit, any money that's being moved between accounts that aren't related has to be cleared by this, all right? Between banks, has to be cleared by the automated clearinghouse. It's a federal government service, and that was actually hit with a cyber attack around 6 months ago. And if you remember, a lot of people were getting notifications on their bank and saying that direct deposits from this date will be delayed. I think it was like October 10th, or maybe it was like November, something like that. It was in October, November, I remember. And it was telling people that their deposits wouldn't be in for a while. And that was due to a cyber attack on the banking system. All right, so that is also another possibility that we have to deal with. All right, and they're worried that banks could start collapsing potentially from their portfolio risk. Right, and they're saying especially commercial real estate portfolios, they're worried because nobody works in the office anymore. A lot of it's all remote. A lot of people work from home now. And also a lot of our major US cities have been destroyed and are crumbling from these terrible policies that have been put in place, right? They're allowing crime to run rampant. There's a major overflow of people that are coming in, flooding into the country every single day, and a lot of them end up in these major cities, right? And there's nowhere for them to go, nowhere for them to stay, not enough resources. All these things are happening. There's a decay also in our major cities, and this is causing a collapse in commercial real estate. All the malls are gone. Think about it. There's no more malls anymore. They're all just like strip malls now. All these prime real estate locations that people, these big companies, have had in their portfolios for decades, a lot of them are now worthless, or they're worth a lot less than they were. So this is very concerning. And you can see here, this is what Powell was saying. All right, quote, "This is a problem that we'll be working on for years more, I'm sure." Right? Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed. "There will be bank failures, but not the big banks." All right, so that's reassuring, not sarcasm. There will be bank failures, but it won't be the big banks, don't worry. And that's kind of what the FDIC is warning of, is that, don't worry, we're not going to let the big banks fail. All right, we're going to figure that out. That's kind of what they're saying, is that we're worried, all right, they could fail. These Wall Street banks could fail, but don't worry, we're going to figure it out. And it actually does. Some of the things they're saying do sound good. All right, they're trying to ensure that shareholders and creditors will absorb the losses rather than taxpayers, because that's what happened before with these other banks when they were failing last year, is that taxpayers just came in and covered it all. So they made terrible decisions, the banks did. They took your money, made terrible decisions, terrible investments, lost all your money, couldn't pay you back when you needed it, and then everyone else, all the other taxpayers, had to just make up for it. And then the banksters just get away, right? There needs to be severe consequences if banks fail like this. All right, they shouldn't be able to take this much risk with people's money, and they should always be able to pay people back. But that's how this whole thing works. They never have actually enough money to give you if everyone wanted it. All right, and they actually use debt to create more debt. All right, it's called fractional reserve banking, where they take, say you get a loan, right? So you get a loan for $10,000, and then you go put that in a bank account. All right, you go put that in a different bank account. Some credit union, whatever, gives you a loan. You go put $10,000 in your bank account. Now, the bank that you put that in, they use that $10,000 to give someone else a loan. They use it as leverage to give someone else a $8,000 loan. So they say, well, there's $10,000 in this account, so we can leverage out 80% of it, $8,000, to someone else to give to a loan, and then they give someone else a $8,000 loan based off your $10,000 in your account. And then someone takes that $8,000 and puts it in a different bank, and then they give someone a loan based on that. All right, they give someone a 80% of 8,000 is 6,400. So they give someone a $6,400 loan based on the $8,000 in that account. And it's all just created from that, and it just keeps going down until there's just nothing left. And think of how much money is created just from that original $10,000 loan. You're creating now $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 from that first $10,000 that's all in different people's bank accounts now and on different loans. All right, so that's how this fractional reserve banking system operates, and it's very delicate. It's very delicate. That's why interest rates and all these things are so critical, because any fluctuation in it really disturbs this process. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, where interest rates are so high, the amount you have to pay back for a loan is really digging into and stifling how much you can actually buy, how much equity you're actually buying and getting back. A lot of it's just going towards the loan every month, right? So we're reaching this point, right? And it could go on for years more, but if you have your money in these banks, it's a big risk. So just be prepared, have some cash, because if you have your money, people were locked out for weeks, months, that had their money in these certain banks. They were standing outside. They weren't doing anything. They weren't giving anyone any money, and they had to wait months for it all to be settled out to get their money back. All right, so just have a stash, maybe have a little bit of money, maybe have a different accounts or something, like have money placed in different bank accounts in case one goes under. At least you have this other bank that you can access, and still, because it locks you out of everything, your direct deposit, everything, if these banks go down. All right, so please hit it up for me down there, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, and it helps to get this warning out. People need to know what our government is preparing for, and they're saying, the Fed, Jerome Powell, saying there's going to be bank failures. Janet Yellen warning of the same thing. Now the FDIC chair is saying we're preparing for large Wall Street banks to fail. All right, and once the U.S. loses its major economic power, then we could see major problems militarily as well. If we aren't able to fund our military, fund all of our nation's obligations, and we're just paying massive amounts of debts. That's what's happening right now. I think it's 20% of the entire budget, maybe it's 30% of the entire budget every year is now just going to debt, paying debt, or paying interest. Sorry about that. Is now going to paying interest on the debts, right, to pay it off. So it's a major drain on our economy, on everything. And it could be a national security risk as well at some point, where, you know what, we can't spend $800 billion a year on this. We just can't afford it anymore, and nobody's buying our debt. Nobody's buying our bonds anymore. So our money is kind of dwindling with power internationally. All right, so that's the path that we're on, and it's going to create more inflation at home as well. Things are going to get more expensive, but we're not going to see raises. It's going to be stagflation, where there's not really growth. The economy's not really growing, but prices keep going up. Nobody's really getting any benefit, but prices are going up. It's one thing if all the tides are rising. Okay, well, everyone's getting paid more. Everyone has a better quality of life, so we're paying a little more. That's not what's happening. The quality of life's going down, and people are stagnating while prices are going up, right? So this only goes one way. This only goes one way, and it's not good. It's bad, and we need to turn the ship around now. All right, so thank you, guys. Make sure you're getting prepared, stocked up. Get your homestead rolling. Get your garden going, your chickens going. Get your preps, all that stuff, right? You know, the stuff we talk about every single day. Get that stuff and be ready, all right? And have cash in there too. Have some coins. There's a ton of different alternative stores of value that you can have. Even just eggs. Eggs are going to be valuable. You have a bunch of eggs, you can trade those. That's a currency. That's a bartering system when it hits the fan. All right, so Thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.